Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there to all my beloved listeners. Today we have a special episode, a video episode for those of you who are tuning in only by listening. So go ahead and check this out on YouTube. I have a special guest, Dina Berrin, and I'm going to introduce her soon. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I think is close to many of us, speaks to many of us, probably going to hit home for many of you, namely about burnout or being out of sync, and how can the numerology of timing help us understand why is this happening and how can we work through this. But before anything else, if you are new here, welcome. This podcast is about in-depth numerology, and numerology is the path for inner transformation, spiritual growth, self-understanding, self-knowledge. In my personal sort of take or approach on numerology is trying to make it both deep but also grounded and applicable for everyday life matters, so you can really use numerology to live a more conscious life, a more balanced life, be a co-creator, a participant in your own life, and simply make it more in line with your soul's true purpose and destiny. Now, here are just a few ways that you can dive deeper into numerology should you wish to do so. First and foremost, I highly recommend booking a numerology reading with me. In a reading, you can ask any question that's burning in your life right now and get precise answers tailored especially to you. You can read more about my readings and contact me through the link in the episode description. If you wish to study numerology, then I offer 2 study paths. First, check out my self-study numerology courses that offer the rare opportunity to learn numerology online at your own pace on your mobile device, your tablet, your laptop. My library currently includes 2 self-study courses and more coming up. Or if you're one of those who want to dive deep into the rarer depths of numerology, then you can sign up to my complete path of certification, where you study with me one-on-one, all the way from a complete beginner, if that's where you're at, all the way to a complete expert. And you get certified as a professional numerologist on the go. So to read more, again, check out the links in the episode description. So today's guest, Dina Berrin, is an intuitive guide and numerologist who works with tarot, numerology, astrology to help people understand timing, cycles, and self-trust. With over 2 decades of experience, her work reframes numbers as tools for clarity rather than labels, especially around burnout, today's topic, transitions, and personal growth. She's also the author of The Way Within, Igniting Your Intuition with Sacred Tools. So, without further ado, let us get Dina on the call. Hello, Dina.
Hi, Tom. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? So happy to have you all the way from New York.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Really, really awesome to have you here. So Dina is right now in New York, Manhattan, right?
Yep, New York City. You can see some buildings right outside my
Exactly.
window. I'm right near
And
Columbus Circle.
here we go. And I'm like in Berlin, gray, winterish Berlin. So, and here we are. So, Dina, today we have a very fascinating topic. I think many people can really relate. It's an experience that many people have. In fact, Dina reached out to me and suggested we actually talk about this, and I really resonated with it because the whole topic of being like burned out, being out of sync with like the what I would call like the season of the time, the season, like the personal season of our life.
Mm.
can cause a lot of frustration and like a whole array of negative feelings. And Dina and I want to just discuss how can numerology help us understand the timing of our life? How can we work with the timing of our life? Can we detect when we're out of sync? What can we tweak, right, to sort of help ourselves align? And maybe Dina will introduce more ideas, but definitely we want to sort of unpack this topic together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this has come up so much with clients for me lately because we've moved from a universal 9 year in 2025 to a universal 1 year, which nine is a year of endings, completions, shedding what doesn't work for you anymore, what isn't serving you. And then a one is a new beginning, a fresh start, kind of like a reset, so to speak. So a lot of people are thinking like, how can I be better? Like in this new cycle, it's like not only a new year, it's a new cycle. And what a lot of people are coming to me with, I'm hearing a lot, like, they want what they're framing themselves, they're kind of like labeling themselves as like weak or lacking boundaries. But what I really feel like it is, it's often about timing. Like, where are
Mm,
they in their own personal cycles, not just where
right.
are we in the world cycle. So anyway, this was just very interesting to me because I feel like it's coming up again and again. Are you experiencing that?
I do, and I think it's also a very, very good point you made here because I think I do see people sometimes confusing the universal year with the personal year.
Hmm.
And I think, again, from my experience, as someone who works in the field for quite a while and having done like yearly forecasts, like universal yearly forecasts, I honestly stopped doing that. And the reason being is that I realized that actually what influences people the most is their personal cycles, like the personal years. And so for me, like I think I just sort of took a step back from dealing with universal years. I'm not saying they don't have an impact, but it's so vast that it's actually hard to pinpoint what's happening exactly. Yes, we can say nine is, and then, list all the nine qualities, but like matter of fact, what does it actually mean? Like in terms of like world affairs, it's a little bit hard to grasp. But when it comes to nine personal year, for you or for myself, this is very, very precise. Like that's where you can really put the pin in certain things that are happening and why and what can you do about that. And so I think that's a very, very important distinction to make.
Yeah, and knowing your personal year, like knowing what cycle you are in, is a great way for you to figure out maybe what you should be doing in
Yes.
this time period. Like, for example, if you are in a nine personal year, that's about completion and release for you. And, maybe there are things like, burnout, like if it's a year of completion and what you're doing instead of releasing is you're clinging to what you don't want to end,
Yeah.
or you don't grieve what is actually ending, because sometimes we need to kind of come to those endings on our own and not rushing the next chapter. Like I feel as though nine is asking for a release. It's not asking for you to do the reinvention right here, right now. And sometimes people get confused and they feel like they need to do everything right away. And like I almost look at life as like a lazy river, like when, those little tubes that you get in and they kind of just push you along, whereas some people are trying to like go faster in the lazy river and you're like,
Ah,
just
nice.
enjoy
Yeah.
the ride.
True. 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 It's a beautiful distinction you're making there because nine is, I sometimes like to depict the 9 year as like, okay, you're shedding off like an old skin.
Hmm.
And or you're slowly slowly seeing the bigger picture, or you're standing on the summit and you're seeing a new horizon sort of unfold before you, but you're not there yet.
Correct.
You're there yet, or you're entering that new terrain in the year number one that follows. But the nine gives you the perspective, and to gain perspective or to soar higher, you need to release weight, right? For like a hot air balloon to just soar higher, you need to throw off these sacks of sand, and just allow yourself to sort of soar higher to
Right.
see a bigger perspective, but you're not yet there.
Because in the 9 year, you're still weighted down. You can't. It's almost like I look at this as like you have to empty the suitcase before
Yes.
you can repack it. So, but don't worry about what's going to be repacked. Worry about getting rid of the things that are already there, and then
Yes.
we'll figure that out when we get there. And a lot of people want to hurry up and get there. They want to hurry up
Yes.
and feel like they're making, big things happen and movement and momentum. And that's great if the timing is right.
Yes. Yes. It's well said. And I think generally speaking, we do live a lot in our minds. At least again in our time and sort of epoch, we're living a lot in the mind. There's a lot of what I should do, what I have to do, what I must do, musts, shoulds, shouldn'ts, and so on, like ideas. And so, and especially like in the Western society, again, I'm speaking as a Westerner, so I don't want to speak in the name of other cultures I'm
Okay.
not completely familiar with, right? So like but I think it's a global phenomenon. We're like very much about like progress and doing and succeeding and reaching and aspiring and so on. And
Achieving.
exactly achieving. And so there's like this momentum, but what if you're now in like a 7 year that
Mm,
wants you to sort of like shift the momentum inwards and
right.
ask deeper questions, and you feel something is slowing down and you don't want it to slow down because you have all these ideas. Like instead of being sort of one with nature or the universe, call it what you will, you're sort of more you're insisting on your thoughts, which to me is already starting to touch on the burnout aspect. It's not that like life really burns you out, right? But rather,
No. But like if
right?
you're expecting answers to come too quickly in a number 7 year, or you're intellectualizing everything. Like the seven is about your inner work, not about your outer success. It's not about what's happening out there, it's what's happening in here. And people get too caught up with what other people think and how are people going to judge them and all these other things. That's not and I feel as though that alone is the lesson of the 7 year.
Yes. Yes.
It's really it's really powerful, and I really feel like your personal lens, it's really important for you to figure out what is going on with you. And you're not only seeing this, I mean, just to add a little extra little component, but like we have our life path. And
Right.
I feel like our life path is the lens that we see the world through because
Right.
we have this our whole lives. And then our personal year is kind of like the outfit we put on or kind of like where we're going in that through that lens in that year. And so I do feel like it's really important not only that you know your personal year, but that you also understand your life path because that's who you bring to the party wherever you go.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I really, really agree with that. I really, really agree with that. And there are like so many examples I can think of, like again, wanting to gallop forward with the project while being in a year that requires more slow and steady building, like the year number four. For example, year number four is interesting. And again, we're just gonna probably sporadically like throw some examples here and there. Like year number four for me, it's an interesting one. Like it's because let's say compare 4 to 8.
Hmm.
Four is slow and steady building.
Yeah.
It's almost about like um, establishing solid roots for the long run, for the sort of you're building something today that might stay with you for the future. It's being more frugal, more responsible about your actions. It's not about taking unnecessary risks. It's about investing money in something safe. So it's not about like rushing and but maybe I'm someone who really wants to like become rich, or like I'm super sort of like into my career and I want to advance. I want to It's like I would advise, for example, right, someone in a 4 personal year, hey, like don't rush it. Don't try to like push too forward too much. Right now, just build yourself steadily because that's gonna pay off much more, and you're gonna feel again, the burnout or that sense of being like out of sync comes from like trying to do something that's completely, again, you cannot sow seeds when it's like freezing winter outside.
No, agree. And like, so just to add on what you're saying with the 4 year, yes, the 4 year is very complicated. It's very much about structure and building that foundation, but it's about, to me, building the system. It's
Yeah,
not about building the outcome. You are going to build what it is that's going to take you. I feel like maybe the 4 is the precursor to the 8. The 8 is when the success comes. The
yes,
4 is having the foundation, a strong, solid foundation underneath
exactly.
you to build that. So, in a 4, how do you, if you're in a 4 personal year, what might bring about burnout? And, I think about like, you not resting. Like when you build something, need
Hmm.
to think about like, how do I want this to work for me for the long term? Like I'm not looking for a little band-aid. I'm looking for a system. So I think that
Absolutely.
sometimes we rush, um, and we confuse maybe the work with the long-term outcome. Like we maybe want to show off a little bit, like look what I'm doing. It's not a
Yes.
show-off year. It's a
No.
year of putting your head down and doing the work. And if you take on too much responsibility in the 4 year, I think you're going to burn out.
Beautiful. I love that point. I love that point. And I want to actually like stay on it for a moment because
You go.
like one thing is, one thing is being in a personal year and behaving in a way that is completely out of sync with it. That's one thing.
Right.
Like trying to be a 5 when I'm in a 4 year. The other thing is like being um either sort of excessively being in the energy of the year. For example, sometimes again, like let's say take a year number 4, people are they sort of like they become so zoned in on their work and they work hard and they put too much effort. They try too hard. So you were saying like you should also make sure you rest enough. Year number 7, for example, because we've already mentioned it, I definitely see a lot of people not understanding why there's a lot of heaviness and life like requires of them or demands of them sometimes to deal with things that are not that easy. Sometimes like very deep and subtle issues that require like investigation and also presence, like a deeper wisdom that is sort of called for. Um, and I think sometimes it's not only being in a year 7 but wanting to be 8, but it's also like uh being affected by the gravity of that year and not knowing how to balance it.
That's so true.
You
Because
know what
what
I
I was
mean?
just thinking of, sometimes in the 7, people isolate
Hmm.
and they feel very alone in whatever it is they're dealing with.
So true.
And that can cause burnout. So it's like you
Beautiful.
need to know the balance. You need to know that, and everything needs time. Like it's funny, like so, like my question for you is like, even to go back to the 4 or even in the 7. So what if someone is like a life path 1, like a real goer and doer, and they're
Mm-hmm.
in a year 7? So it's like
Mm.
knowing that so your life path 1, like you're a leader, you're an achiever, you want to make things happen, but in this year, it may look a little different. Like being in a personal year 7 through the lens of a life path 1 looks very
Yes.
different than
So
a
well
personal
said.
year 7 in if someone who has a life path 7.
Brilliant. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I really agree with what you said, and it's so important. And also, just comes to show the complexity and the beauty and the richness of numerology because it's not only about just understanding the personal years, it's also understanding who you are and how does your structure sort of meet or encounter that particular personal year. If I'm like a 7, how would I feel? And I'm sort of more like an introvert, or if I'm a 2 life path and I'm more of an introvert, right? Or like a shy personality. Let's take number 2. What will like how will it feel like to me to be in a year number 5 when there's a strong 5 energy calling me to be expressive, a little bit more daring, to network, to get around, sort of meet new people, interact, and so on and so forth. Like, how will I feel if I'm a number 2 life path? There's the year, like the universal sort of quality of the numbers, for sure. But
Yes.
then there's
Yes.
like our relationship with that.
Yes. And but I feel as though like how you grow is by being uncomfortable. Like I'm a big believer that you don't grow by sitting on the couch with a microwave bowl of popcorn in your lap and the remote control in your hand. You
Mm-hmm.
learn by getting out, on the playing field of life, so to speak, and getting a little dirty, getting a grass stain, whatever it is that you need to do. And so that number two, that shy, quieter number two, I'm pushing you in your 5 year. I'm like, I feel like the universe, like, and timing is everything. Like you come at these cycles, and I feel like the right time after you've been like, you come to the five after the four, after you've built the
Mm-hmm.
system, and maybe you have a little bit of something that you can fall back on. And how we become stronger and more abundant and just more authentic to who we are is by being in these uncomfortable cycles.
Yes, agreed. Again, I want to tell all of our listeners or viewers that I know a little secret, but like Dina is like a life path number 5. So so it's just fascinating for me to also see your sort of upbeat energy and how you're saying like, no, like I really think they should like you grow by like just throwing yourself out there, you know what I mean? And like experiencing life and
Because that's what I do.
yeah, yeah, which is beautiful. No, everything you said is like is so beautifully put and very, very precise. It's also just beautiful to see the flair and the unique, frequency that you sort of express things through.
And that's my lens. That's my lens.
Exactly.
Like once again, which is why, we all have a different, we all come at this from different angles. But yes,
Yeah.
I am someone that is like, let's make it an adventure.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And you are, and one can see that and feel that in your energy. That's really, really beautiful. By the
And I got
way,
some three in me. I've got my personality is a three and my birthday number is a three. So I got some three going in as well.
wow. Yeah, 5'3". It's like it's so youthful and vibrant. Yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention, of course, I will uh link to the website of Dina in the podcast episode description. So definitely go check her out. Very fascinating person, very energetic, a lot to offer. So definitely do that. And we'll probably mention it again in the end so you don't forget. Um, yeah, so it's really fascinating. Like when I was sort of thinking about our podcast together, and I was sort of contemplating different numbers. I was just thinking about like, like if I'm like in a, I don't know, like I'm in an 8 year, and life sort of wants me to go out there, take care of business, show up, be present, take care of things, not neglect. And I'm doing everything I can to shy away, to be complacent, to not finish what I started. You're gonna feel like life knocking on your door. I always say to my students, like 8 is this kind of year that is, it's a bit like God or the divine coming to you and saying like, so my friend, so all of these bills you didn't take care of, and you see all this paperwork that you just like, postpone again and again. So now's the time. That's it. No more no more postponing. It's like it's a year that has this sort of karmic like effect in the sense of like paying your dues in a sense, right? It's like it's time to take care of stuff. Like it's not neglecting, and of course it's one aspect of the 8. There's many other aspects of the number, but it's like again the 8 wants you to deal with things. Like it's time to deal with things, even if you want a promotion or you want to promote yourself or you want to sort of like push yourself forward. It's well, then go ahead and do it. You
Right. So
know?
it's interesting because so you just said that you're in a personal year eight, but you find yourself shying away from that.
Yeah,
Is
as
that
an
right?
example, as one example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then my question is, if you and so like this is not just a Tom question, this is like an audience and listener
I don't know. I'm not in
question.
the personal year 8. I just said
Oh, you're
like as a
not in a
general
personal year.
example. No, no,
Okay.
general example. General
So,
example.
okay, that was general level. But like, so
Yeah.
for example, if you are in a personal year eight or whatever your personal year is, and you are feeling like you are resisting it or shying away from it, or just like an ostrich taking your head and burying it in the sand about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
my question is, how can you be in more alignment with it? Like, what is something you can do to align with the energy of that number? And I understand, like you said, like the eight, like those were some qualities of the eight that you mentioned,
Right.
but they're not all the qualities. And that's the thing.
Mm-mm.
These numbers have so much depth. And I mean, take Tom's course, it's amazing. Like it goes so deep and he knows so much. I mean, and knowing your number is so valuable. And then the question is, how can you align with something in the energy of that year? Because I feel as though an 8 year is an opportunity for you to kind of like grab on to the back of a rocket as it is taking off. And
Oh,
for you
love
to
it.
just stand on the sideline, and once again, my five is speaking, but for you
No,
just to
it's
stand on
beautiful, but it's so beautiful and then pragmatic. Keep going. I love it.
yeah, but just stand on the sideline and watch this rocket take off and not participate when you know you have a ticket to ride on that?
Mm.
What a loss. So I feel like how can you align, even if it's not, necessarily one of your tools that is currently in your toolbox, maybe that's the lesson of this year. How can you add this tool and how can you find a way to step up and align with the year eight or whatever it is, the year that you're in?
That's so, so beautifully said. I love your down to earth approach. Like there's something, you're really offering something very, very practical, like in a sense. Like, okay, so let's just see how we make the what now feels impossible into possible.
Right.
And I love that approach. And I think it's really one way to also help with that, in my opinion, is realizing that there is no energy that you are not actually one with. Like the eight is not a stranger to you. Like no energy is a stranger to you. Like it's really you and the energies are not two things. Like we are the movement of life. We are the movement of life. There's no real
If you're paying
separation.
attention.
Exactly. And it's not like some separate entity that is now like annoying me, or you know what I mean, or disturbing me. If I'm actually listening, if I'm attentive, then when I'm in a year number two, I'm gonna sort of feel this gentle energy flow that moves me in a particular way. And if I shift into a five, I'm gonna also feel this sort of like bubbly energy, and like the urges are gonna emerge. And when I'm in the eight, the energy and the sort of the willpower and all the other elements, if I'm really listening, we're not separate. And I think it's important because, and this happens a lot, like I hear people saying, no, I don't like this number. Or I had students like, I don't like my life path. If you don't like your life path, or if you do not like the personal year you're in, it simply means that you don't understand yourself well. Because if you really understand yourself well, there is no such a thing like I don't like this or I don't like that. It's like it's all life. It's all you. You know what I mean?
I think that's so true because it makes me think I was just saying this the other day, and it's like because when I think this happens, like I read tarot also, and people pull a tarot card and they're like, "Oh, is that a bad card?"
A
Just
bad
like when
card.
they have a number, like, "Is that a bad number?" And I say to them, I'm like, "Well, it's funny. Like I have curly hair, and when I was younger, I wanted straight hair, and I would have. I mean, I was always trying to straighten my hair, and it was just like the worst thing to me. Like having curly hair was the worst thing. And as I've gotten older, I've embraced my curly hair and I don't try to straighten it. And I'm okay with that. And I feel as though having like whatever your life path is, whatever personal year you're in, it's like saying like, is it bad that I have brown eyes? Is it bad that I wear a size 10 shoe? It's like,
Mm,
well, it's the truth of who you are. So either you cannot like it, but you're still going to have the same color eyes. You're still going to have the same size shoe. You're still going to have curly hair. And at some point, you're going to either keep resisting it, which is just going to cause it's like a fish swimming upstream, or you can surrender and just lean into it and say, okay, this is who I am, and I'm gonna love myself for who I am. And it changes everything.
yes, yes, yes. Really, really beautifully said. Exactly. Like it's really, really important to embrace who we are, to embrace where we are. There's pretty well-known spiritual teacher that I love, an American spiritual teacher. Her name is Byron Katie.
Yes.
And she speaks about loving what is. She's very total, like she's 100% in. There's no gaps there. There's no like cracks in the system for her. It's like it's if I'm like I don't know if I'm in a year eight, I am the eight. If I'm in the year two, I am the two. It's like there's no separation, and she's always like,
Which is beautiful because it
yes,
replaces self-judgment with self-compassion. It's like, I'm here. Like, I'm going to be here. There's no choice.
yes, yes,
It's funny. Like, I feel like, bringing numerology back to what she is, it's like numerology isn't here to tell people what to do. It helps people stop fighting themselves. It
yes.
helps, when people understand their timing and, what the energy of this moment is,
Mm,
shame drops away and they can step into the truth of who they are, which is really beautiful.
very, very beautiful. So before we keep rolling,
Yes,
uh,
you go.
if you guys are enjoying this podcast and you're benefiting from it, and you want to keep learning more in-depth, more grounded, and applicable numerology, then please make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, follow me on whatever platform you're listening from, and become part of my numerology community. This goes a long way in helping me keep producing these free podcasts for you guys. Also, make sure to follow me on Substack, where I write in-depth content about the coming together of numerology and Dharma. Again, the links are all in the episode description. Lastly, make sure to comment. Like commenting is a great way to connect, ask questions. As you know me, I always answer comments. So go ahead and do that. And having said all of that, let's keep rolling. So, Dina,
So I was
anything you
thinking
wanna,
about
anything?
like,
Yeah.
so what I was thinking about is like sometimes people experience burnout just like they experience a number that they don't like in their
Mm,
life. It's like they think they need something different. They need discipline, they need boundaries. But what they really need is to step into the energy of where they are. Um, I think when people lose motivation, it's really that they've just lost meaning for the moment that they're in. And
mm,
I think that also another thing with burnout is people often think that they're behind, like that, like as you were saying, people always want to achieve and just kind of
right.
like keep going and the momentum and everything. And what sometimes burnout is, it's transition. Like you are actually in between chapters, and it's not a sign of your being behind. It's actually a sign of you moving forward, but it's all in the way that you respond to it. And knowing your numerology can help change all of that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think that's very, very well said. Yeah, I think that I always um so the way I work with personal years, and I know there are two schools in numerology, and I'm very open and honest about that. There are two schools of numerologists. Some that see personal years as something that starts on January 1st, or some that do it from birthday to birthday. I belong to the latter, from birthday to birthday. So for me, whenever I approach my birthday, let's say a month before, I'm gonna sit with the numbers and I'm gonna sort of prepare my own yearly forecast. Same for my wife. In fact, tomorrow, to the day of like this recording, tomorrow I'm meeting a friend who had a birthday just a few days ago, and I'm gonna just give him like a yearly forecast. So I think like, aligning with the yearly frequency of our like this ongoing cycle, this ongoing yearly cycle, I think it's a really healthy habit, one can say, or a ritual. To me, it's like there's
I was
even
just gonna just say that. I was like, tell me about more about your ritual. Like, do you have like like do you say goodbye to the energy of the year that's leaving? And like, do you have like, so is it like a goodbye and then a welcome ritual, or is it more like, I don't know. You tell me. What
yeah.
is your ritual? I'm very
I'm
interested
curious to
to hear.
hear about yours, but like for me, there's no like real. I'm not so much like the ritual guy in that sense, but like I'm very much like fine-tuned That's more like me. I'm very fine-tuned to the energies. And so I usually like a month to 2 months prior to the new personal year, I already feel like the incoming energy. It's already starting to settle. And so I tune myself and I sit with the numbers and I really want to, I lay them before me and I want to see like I don't want to limit myself to the numbers because that's also something that can happen with people who obsess themselves with the numbers. That's not,
Mhm.
I think the role of numerology is a supportive method, a supportive tool, but not a substitute for living life. So I'm just lightly listening to the numbers, looking at them, letting them give me their message. And it sort of opens like this, it widens my lens and I can see like the bigger picture of what's happening so that when lessons come, I am more inclined to receive them with an open door and a welcoming, heart. And I think that's the main key for me. That's my approach. What about you? Any?
Love that. Well, as I mentioned, I work with a couple of things. So
Right.
I take both the number and I also work with the tarot card of the year, which is interesting because my number for this year is a different number. So for example, my number is 17, which is the star card in
Mm.
tarot. But we don't do 17 in the foundational numbers of numerology. So I'm actually, as you mentioned, I was like, oh, you're in a personal year eight. I'm in a personal year eight. So I'm a life path five in a personal year eight. Like, look out, dudes. I'm coming. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
intense.
but I feel as though I sit with, not only my number, but I also like the energy of the star card is the eternal optimist. Like it's saying that
Mm.
even if things are not exactly how you want them to be right now, like because it's a night sky in the tarot card of the star, so like it's night right now, so we can't see everything clearly. But tomorrow, kind of like that show by Little Orphan Annie, the sun will come out tomorrow and we'll be
Right.
able to see more clearly. So even though things may not be exactly how I want them to be right now, it's happening. Like the universe is already making it happen for me. Like it's already been done. It's already set. Like the universe has it all planned out for me. And so I bring that energy into the eight. And the eight is quite a force to be reckoned with. Like it's a power year, it's an achievement year. And I really need to align myself this year in order to like I'm getting on that rocket. I'm not just holding on to the outside of it.
Yes.
I'm getting
Yes.
inside. So I feel as though I have been thinking about that. Like I was thinking about that. And I feel like I bring it in like so I take this as my tarot card for the year and I take this as my number for the year. Just because like last year was more of an internal year. It was a hard year. So I was
Seventh. Yeah.
actually quite happy when it was December 31st like an old, dirty shirt or something. I'm taking off this year and I'm dropping it
Mm.
on the ground and I'm stepping into something much more brighter and full of possibility. But I feel as though everything I did last year in my seven, and it was a tower year for those that know the tarot deck. The
16, right?
tower,
It's the
yes,
16th card.
16.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the tower card looks like an explosion. There's lightning coming and the tower's on fire and people are jumping out. But I look at the tower year as liberation. So I feel like last year I turned inward and I freed myself in a lot of crazy ways that I could not have predicted. The year, life throws you things that, teach you the lessons. So I felt like because of last year, I am prepared for this year. And that
Yes.
is the lesson. I feel like if you know your numerology, the possibilities are limitless because you can use this as like fuel in your tank. Like this is the vehicle to get you. So like in a 1 year, it may be more initiation oriented. In 2 year, it may be, in a quieter way. In three, it may be through joy and, personality and reaching out more through expression. Like, so every year it works differently, but you are
Yes.
still able to be the fullest expression of yourself using the numerology to figure out what way will get you there in the most efficient and beautiful way possible.
Yeah, beautifully said. Beautifully said. And also presenting like this whole idea or notion of like a year of like sort of the personal year as a process, right? Like four emerging from the three, the five emerging from the four, and everything sort of almost like preparing you for the next step to come. And I love that because it's really important. Like when you are in a 4 year, and if you're doing your work well, if you're working on those foundations, right, then the year number five, based off of these foundations, if you have solid foundations, then you can easily go out there and explore. It's a little bit like I sometimes tell people, if you don't really have stability, if you let's say connected to the chakra system. So if you don't have like a solid base chakra, root chakra, the
Hmm.
sacral chakra, which to me it's much more like the five energy, it's like exploration, sensuality, like let's go experience and like taste life. It's not going to flow really well. You need to have a good foundation. When you have a good foundation, you have it's a bit like if I have a home and it's stable and it's solid, I can easily book a flight and go here and travel there and experience life. But if I have no roof over my head and I have no money and I have no funds, wandering the streets is not equivalent to the freedom of number five. That's not the freedom of number five. That's like lack of roots, and that's sort of being sort of a leaf in the wind.
Nomadic. Yeah, it's very
Yes, it's not the sta
untethered.
exactly. It's not the stable and solid energy of number five. So there's something beautiful, and if you've done the year number five well, if you've explored and allowed yourself to open up to what this life has to offer, then in the year number six, there's so much bounty that you've accumulated and you can share it, right? Then the year number six is it's about not only about it's about the heart, many aspects of the heart, but part of it is giving back to the community in many ways and forms. But it's now enabled because the year number five has given me so much more new experience. I tasted life in so many ways, in so many angles that now I'm like, I feel so much like richness. I just want to share it.
And you're in a better place that you can share it. Like, I don't know that you would have been ready to do that because also the 6 years asking you to step up and be responsible.
Right.
And so if you didn't have that freedom, if you didn't have that time to grow and like water and sunshine yourself, then maybe you would resent the fact that you now have to have all this responsibility.
Yes.
But instead, you've been through that and you can be like, now I can give back.
Yeah, you're full. You've received the all the juice and the enrichment that the five offers. And now, yeah, I think it almost comes naturally, frankly speaking. Like I think it's if you're really aligned, then like the emerging energy feels very natural. It doesn't feel like something that is out of whack or forced, you know what I mean? Like at least in my experience. I'm not
No, I
saying that
love what you,
sometimes no,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I was gonna say, I love what you said about having that foundation. Like, I think that's so true. Like, if your root chakra is in some way, if it's not rooted and if it doesn't feel like it's been tended to, it's very hard. That's where everything kind of like sprouts out from, which is then is a sign that you need to go back and do more work. And sometimes that's what numerology is.
Yes.
It's showing you where you need to do the work.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think it's a good point also to or a good moment to mention here, like, working with many people for many years, there's no perfect. The perfect is not for human life. I mean, perfect is for, I don't know, the realm of the soul, the realm of pure consciousness, but human life is imperfect. It's messy. There's
Yeah.
no, I don't want to give any sort of false notion to any of you listening or watching this episode that by following the numbers, you're going to live some kind of perfect life because that's an illusion. and an illusion that many people are trying to sell out there to make money, and I'm not one of them. So I want, for me, honesty and authenticity is the most important thing. Truthfulness. I think we grow by way of truth. Um, I do think that aligning with the numbers, aligning with our numerology, be it our core numbers and then the seasons that follow, the numerology of timing, helps us to navigate this wild, intense, unpredictable life in a way that makes more sense. This life is anyhow really wild. Like I think anybody over the age of 30 already knows that life is not exactly what you have planned it to be. Like so many curveballs, so many like unexpected turns. Um, and so I think that we are gifted, by these blessed methodologies like numerology or astrology or tarot to sort of give us pointers.
Yes.
And
Yes,
these
they're
pointers
guiding
mean a
the
lot.
way. And once again, it's not to tell you what to do. It's just helping you align with yourself so you can live a more authentic life.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Like I very much agree with what you said. I'm a big believer that our lives, I mean, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen 10 steps down the road. We hit forks, just 2 steps, like we're always hitting forks and always, getting pulled away and learning new things. But I really feel that we are like, I'm a big believer that there is like we are here to live the life that we are meant to live, and everything happens as it's meant to.
It does. It does. Absolutely. And exactly. And I think just the other day, like somebody told me, I was speaking to them about the numbers, and they
Mm.
were and as I was like describing themselves to who they are to them, like they were so sort of positively surprised by how can it be that like there's something that can describe where I am and how I feel and what's my life about by looking at numbers. And I think like yeah, like we are, I think we are just like we are blessed to have like these ways and tools that help us simply see us for what we really are and just sort of land into our own structure
Yeah.
and learn to love it, learn to embrace it. Again, in the context of burnout and being out of sync, I think it's really, really important. I think a lot of us are trying to be something else, be it in relation to the personal year or in relation to our own structure. And I think like landing in my own two shoes, in my own skin, and really appreciating what I am, who I am, the season I'm experiencing right now. Right now here in Berlin, it's like one of the coldest winters in the last 20 years or so. You
Wow.
know, just like relaxing into it. So it's cold. Okay, so I'll enjoy the winter clothes. They're really beautiful. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or just seeing the snow or being a little bit more sort of curled in and enjoy, I don't know, watching TV and snacking or something, right? So just, the little things, but I think it goes a long way in helping us live with less stress, with less pressure on ourselves.
And I think I mean that's the goal. I mean, life is stressful enough. The world is crazy enough without all of the pressures that we put on ourselves. So if
Yes.
we can lean into it, yeah, like, instead of saying, what's wrong with me, because nothing is wrong with you, listener, Tom, nothing is wrong, and, just asking, what season am I in? And that one shift can change everything.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's small little tweaks that mean a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like if we can live our lives that way, like I'm not expecting huge, massive, I mean, every now and again you do get a huge, massive aha and like or a
Yes.
change happens
True.
and that's super exciting, but sometimes it's like it's just the day to day, and consistently showing up for yourself and doing the work. Like learning numerology. It's not
Yeah,
like you're not gonna just study it, like you're not gonna listen to one podcast and know everything. But if you are willing to invest, a little bit of time every day and getting to know yourself, it can be really life-changing.
agreed 100%. And if we're already on that topic, like I want to tell the listeners and the viewers that I have an episode that I recorded quite a long time ago, but I'm sure you can find it if you just scroll through my podcast about all the personal years, just in case, because we are just like sort of,
Riffing on this.
riffing on this exactly. We're not really speaking about each and every year methodically. We want to sort of bring across a point, and I think we are managing, hopefully. But if you do want to learn more about the personal years, like 1 to 9 and right everything in between, just go ahead and search for this episode. I think it's called like Personal Years from 1 to 9. You'll find it. So just know it's there. Um, yeah, Dina, I think I feel pretty good with what we said. Anything else you wanna add, say, share?
I guess like just the fact that like numerology reminds us that life moves in cycles and it's not a straight line. So when we understand the cycle that we're in, we can stop forcing it and start like enjoying, like living our life and really listening to where we are.
Yeah, very,
It was
very
great. It was
true.
great talking about this today.
Said by a 5. Moving with life, living the cycles. Listen to Dina. She knows what she's speaking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you.
Fun.
Thank you for bringing your lovely, very sort of uh, yeah, pretty like very clear insights that are also really grounded. Like I felt that every time I was like bringing up a topic, you were grounding it and making it a bit more applicable. I think it's like the 5 energy that makes it okay. So like let's now roll with it a little bit. Let's see how to put it into practice. And I love that. I love that energy that you bring. So I think we'll wrap it up here.
Perfect.
Um, so friends, uh, first of all, go ahead and check Dina's website. Again, I'm gonna leave the link to Dina's website in the podcast episode description. Very talented, fascinating numerologist, astrologer, tower reader. So go ahead and check her out. And before we wrap this up, again, if you enjoyed this podcast and you want to keep supporting this work, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, and simply become part of this community. Remember to check me on Substack, follow me there, Dharma, numerology combined. Again, a lot of wisdom shared with you guys for free. Uh, Make sure to comment, be part of the conversation, ask questions again about the topic we spoke about today. I will answer you guys. So go ahead and do that. And again, don't forget to check out numerology readings. Again, if you want to dive deeper or if you want to study numerology, check out the self-study courses and the in-depth certification studies. That is if you wish to maybe acquire deeper mastery of numerology. So having said all of that, Dina, thank you so much for being here
Thank you.
today.
And thank you. It was wonderful to talk with you and to meet your listeners. And
Yes,
feel free to, I'll answer any questions as well. So
exactly. Yeah.
chime
So
in, ask
so
anything.
Dina and I are here for you guys. So yeah. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My
Take
pleasure.
care, Dina.
Take care. Bye, Tom.
Bye bye. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.